Hello and welcome to the Nevis Station Golden 1200, the second time that this event has taken place. We did it 2 years ago and the weather has turned it on. Beautiful part of the country. You can see the scenery there. Stunning piece of road, stunning piece of the country, as I say, the highest public road in New Zealand, and looking forward to seeing some of the best drivers and the best cars in the country competing over 3.6 kilometres of it, winding from the basin down there that you can see in the bottom of the valley all the way up to the top where we are here at the broadcast position near the end of the track. Dale Budge, we're joined by the voice of rallying, Blair Bartels, for live stream coverage this afternoon, but we've got a special guest with us before we get underway, Jack Smith from the Paddon Racing Group. Massive announcement during the week. Jack, thanks for your time. Hayden Paddon, after a couple of years of hiatus, is going to be back in the World Rally Championship, but doing it differently this time. He's put together an all-New Zealand crew, an all-New Zealand team to go on and take on the world, and you can be part of that. How special does, I know you guys have been working on this for a long time, but how special does that feel?
Yeah, it's just fantastic. Yeah, obviously Hayden's been working on this for a long time since he departed WRC, so his one goal since he left was to come back with a vengeance. So we've come in hot. We're coming in with an all-New Zealand team, which is fantastic. So all the boys at the workshop and myself, we're looking forward to getting back overseas and having a fair go at WRC. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Obviously the campaign's based around WRC2, so this year we'll do a few test events, and then in 2023 we're going to come in hot, do 7 rounds and try win the WRC World Championship. Yeah,
it's going to be something to behold over the next couple of years. The real special thing here is it's done with the New Zealand partners. Hyundai New Zealand have been such loyal supporters of Hayden across the years, and a number of his other partners all combining to make this possible. To do it to people that believe in you and people that you believe in. Hayden, I said to you before, Hayden sort of followed his career for a long time now, and he just seems so much more relaxed and comfortable in his own skin and comfortable in the people around him. That must be pretty special to have that kind of support.
Yeah, when you look at a company like Hyundai New Zealand have backed Hayden through not only just this campaign, but we've done a lot of things over the years. We've won multiple national rally championships, we've developed an EV rally car, and they've been behind us 100% for everything. So it's incredible to have a New Zealand company behind you like that. It's probably rare around the world to have that. But yeah, we're just so grateful for what they do for us. And yeah, in terms of Hayden, he's a driver that's at his peak now. Like in rallying, from our respect, around that 34, 35 mark, that's when you're at your peak, generally. Obviously, there's people that, like Sebastian Loeb, that can win at 40, whatever. But yeah, Hayden's definitely at his peak right now, and what he's doing in New Zealand is fantastic. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting back overseas, getting into it, and showing how good Hayden is, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's going to be a massive year. There's some stuff to do on the home front as well, competing in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship before you go. Jack, all the best, man. I know you're going to be over there. You get to go. You're the luckiest man on the planet, just about. Enjoy yourself, and best of luck for what's going to be a massive 18 months ahead of you.
Cheers, Budgie, and enjoy the coverage.
All right, looking forward to getting underway very shortly. The first of our competitors will be on track. Before we do that, I caught up with the top 3 from yesterday, and we'll catch up with those interviews right now. Harry Pettigrew, congratulations, mate. Top 3 on opening day. You're sort of transitioning across. I know you're doing the championship and the cross karts, but this road obviously suits them, yeah?
Yeah, no, it's an awesome road for the cross karts. They just love it, especially the tight and twisty hairpins climbing up the hill towards the finish. Yeah, it's a joy to drive them, and yeah, really looking forward to heading into tomorrow's competition.
Mate, each run you seem to be getting quicker and quicker, as do the main competitors, obviously. Is that just as you get more familiar with the road, or are you sort of fine-tuning things as you go as well?
Yeah, I've got a shocking memory, so the third run I seem to have the road down packed, so yeah, and some fresh tyres on for that last one helped as well, so yeah, putting everything together really makes it come together in the end.
All right, so the quickest time today added to the final run tomorrow. I guess it all comes down to that final run. What do you do in the morning? Is it just prep for that final one?
Yeah, it's just about trying to figure out maybe if there's different lines you could try, or something, just trying to find that last little tenth here and there to really get to a cracking good time on the last run on Sunday.
All right, mate, good luck, eh?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Matt, congratulations, mate. Solid day, I think top 3, all 3 runs. Congratulations, how did it feel?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it felt pretty good. Just sort of trying to work my way into it. First time on the road, so yeah, happy with how it's gone.
How do you describe this place? I mean, it's pretty unique. The climb, it's a significant climb, the highest piece of public road in New Zealand. Real test for you guys.
Yeah, it is, and it is a tricky piece of road, but it is really cool when you get it right, and it's a pretty awesome spot to be, doing a hill climb in. So yeah, cool.
Good to see the cross cars being pretty competitive. A lot of them inside the top 10 all through today. Nice little battle between you guys, bit of camaraderie as well.
Yeah, it is really tough competition, and especially with Ari. He's certainly pushing me, and so are the other guys. So it's good. Yeah.
Do you think you got a little bit more left in the tank for tomorrow?
Maybe it's hard to say. Like it's trying to be smooth as well as trying to push. So we'll just keep trying to do the best we can each time.
All right, mate. Congratulations on a good day.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers. Hayden, cracking day here at Nevis Station. The weather's turned it on. People are enjoying themselves, and a great day's rallying. How did you see it?
Yeah, awesome day. Obviously the weather's been good and a bit of wind to pick up and move the dust this afternoon. So, hey, it's a really cool piece of road. It's actually, even though it's reasonably short, it's actually challenging. It's changing every run, and trying to get the right rhythm and pick the right lines is quite tricky. So, still a lot left in it today, and hopefully we can try and exploit that tomorrow.
You obviously banked good times to take into tomorrow. I mean, what do you sort of think you can do in terms of improving it across the course of tomorrow?
There's a couple more seconds in it, but we're under last year's or 2 years ago's record, so it's nice to know that the car and everything's going quicker. But there's still more in it, so that's what I'm going to focus on now, is trying to get that right. And this is awesome part of the country to be rallying in. Just a lot of fun, and great to see so many competitors enjoying it as well.
All right, mate. Well done on organising the event, and good luck tomorrow.
Cool, thank you.
Welcome back to the Golden 1200, the Big Nevis Station Golden 1200 live stream coverage, as we are about to embark on the final run, the championship run, here at this fantastic track, 3.6 kilometre stage on the highest public road in New Zealand. Dale Budge with the commentary alongside the voice of rallying here in New Zealand, Blair Bartels. BB, this is what it all comes down to, mate. It's almost go time.
It is. This is the big one. This is today's counting run. We had our best run of the three from yesterday. Today the pressure's on. You had 2 runs of practice, and this one counts. So then we combine the 2 times. We'll run you through that and keep you up to speed as the day goes on. But it's all going to be happening.
So you can see on the screen there, the Group 1. First of the competitors will be the bikes. James Dixon, Andrew Wright. And then we get into the rest of the first group. So basically 2 batches. We'll see a whole lot of cars, or vehicles I should say, make their way up to the top of the hill here. They'll complete their run. I'll spin around and head back down, and then we'll have a final run, the best of the best towards the end. I think it's the top 15 in reverse order. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I believe the top 15 as they stand. So that would see us, as we take them out of the sort of order that's there. Just make sure I get me right. We see Andrew Rudd, John Spencer, Jack Winter, Job Quantock, Ray Casey, Dave Quantock, Mike Tall, Steve Wellington, Ian Fitch, who we're not going to see unfortunately. Terminal engine failure in the Super Quad there. Sean Haggerty, Neil Webb, Mike Wellington, Ari Pettigrew, Matt Penrose, and of course Hayden Padden being the man who's set the pace so far. So we'll see those guys 2-minute intervals at the end, and obviously bring them down and get that podium filled up.
So yeah, there will be a podium just outside the VIP tent here, broadcast booth at the top of the hill, as we wait for our first competitor to be on track. Lovely day, beautiful sunshine as you can see, the odd little piece of cloud just to give us a bit of colour out there on the landscape as we look across the stunning scenery. Have you ever rallied somewhere in a more idyllic location than this?
Yeah, isn't it just superb? This Ben Nevis Station and area is just fantastic. As I understand that the first of our bikes
on the road,
Andrew Wright, is on the road. They work their way up through the valley floor, up over a single lane bridge, through a cattle grid. The first part of the road's really, really fast. Then we get to this section you can see here just before the Repco hairpin, past what you refer to as Stonehenge, Budgie. I'm still not convinced by that myself, but
maybe it's Uluru or
yeah.
rock or something. I don't know. It's a big hunk of rock that you can see in the middle of the screen.
Yes,
as we can see just to the left of it, a little dust trail, and that is Andrew Rudd on his way up towards us.
I think that might be Andrew Wright.
Andrew Rudd, excuse me.
Yep. So Andrew Rudd we'll see a little bit later on, as he's part of that top 15, as I understand it. Have been known to be proven wrong previously.
Beautiful day. There is plenty of wind blowing that dust away, so it shouldn't annoy the competitors.
Whoa,
Wright has a little moment. Man, you have to be brave to take on this kind of road on one of those things.
Yeah, she's a wee way down there. That's why that Armco barrier's there. But he was well beyond that. So now nice and tidy into the Repco hairpin. You see him just stabilising the bike with that inside leg. And so this is the tighter section of the road.
There's 3 big switchbacks, isn't there, in a pretty short space of time?
Yes, you come around this tightening left-hand corner. There's been some spectacular photos out of here. And then up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Very steep. Probably not doing it justice. That is a very steep part of road there. You see the change in surface. Some bits are swept bare. It's almost bedrock.
Yep, up to the Ben Nevis station hairpin. So we wait to see. Oh, a little bit untidy through that final corner for Andrew Wright. Of course, this is the run that counts, so every split second is vital.
You're on timing duty, so very shortly as he comes across the flying finish, we'll have a time for Andrew Wright. A little bit of a yardstick perhaps for us to measure as we see the next competitor. This will
be James Dixon.
Can't miss him.
No, I wouldn't call his outfit camouflaged.
To the Hyundai hairpin. This looks just a little bit quicker than Wright. Anecdotally, at least anyway. We'll have the times for you shortly as he makes his way up to the final corner. The Ben Nevis station hairpin has become a bit of a challenge. Nicely done. A little bit of a wobble on the exit.
Yeah, a little bit tidier than we saw from Wright.
And up towards the flying finish. Get some serious hang time too.
That was a big jump.
Nice job from Dixon. So one more of the bikes to come. Have you got a time there from our first competitor? Not just yet.
Just yet. I think the bikes were a little bit trickier to trigger the transponder.
Right.
The beam, sorry. No transponder.
So we've just got a little bit of a gap here.
Yeah, so this will be the safety gap because we'll see Andrew Rudd in that top 15. So we have a gap between the bike courses.
Yes. So there we go. That is why. There have been 3 of those 2-wheel drive bikes.
So here we see, just while we have that break, the top 10 from yesterday. This is, of course, the time that we'll add together with this timed run. And that's your top 10. So Dave Quantock in 10th there. And if you take Hayden Patton out of the equation, the top 10 separated by less than 5 seconds. So, there's so much to play for here. There's, any little slip will cost you dearly. As we see Tom Milliken.
So the Subaru Impreza, H6.
So that time for Andrew Wright was a 2:42.3.
So first of our traditional rally cars. Milliken into Repco hairpin.
And you weren't half wrong because Dixon pulled out at 2:29.1. So some 13 seconds faster.
Now Milliken working his way up the hill. This left-hander.
So we're looking at a combined time so far. James Dixon, the fastest of our 2 combined runs so far, at a 4:56.4.
Milliken out of Hyundai New Zealand hairpin up towards the final corner. 6th and final run of the weekend for Milliken.
This is the 3-litre H6 Subaru Impreza, rather than the normal 2-litre turbo that we see in these cars.
Been nice and tidy all weekend.
Yeah, Tom will be happy to have the car finished all in one piece and ready to put back on the trailer. Just a little bit dirtier than when it came off at the start of the weekend. Of course, the joys of beautiful dry conditions like this is it's not so hard to clean them, Budgie. These guys hate having to clean a dirty, muddy rally car. It gets everywhere.
Yeah, the dust not quite such a drama, right?
Yeah, so Tom Milliken with a 2-minute 40.6 for his final run of the weekend.
Right, here is.
So we see Willie Hawes.
Started off the weekend with that big wing.
Yeah, it lasted all of one run. He's been quite quick this weekend. Looking a little circumspect here at the moment. Yeah, Yeah, I
Might
suspect,
have an issue there, does he?
yeah, I think that something's not quite right with that Toyota Celica. It's a real shame.
He certainly doesn't seem to have the drive that it has had across the weekend so far.
Yeah, he was sitting 35th after yesterday's run, so that's it's not possibly two-wheel drive, just looking at the way that it's sliding around there in the back end.
Yeah, maybe we just saw that really tough part of the road for two-wheel drive cars.
Of course, this should be four-wheel drive. Yeah, as it goes past the commentary position, sounds like lots of wheel spin. So, bit of a shame, and this is what happens when it all comes down to this one run budget, this graphic illustration of why it's so important. This run is crucial.
Yeah, it certainly is. As we pick up our next competitor on their way up towards the Repco corner. This is
Nigel Eade and
Nigel Eade.
the Subaru Legacy, the old iconic camel livery.
Doesn't that look great? He's run that pretty good. I'm pretty sure he's got that written on the driver's door.
Yep. Great to see these old Group A style cars from the 90s still out, still being used. We've even got some cars dating back to the 70s and 80s. The likes of the Ford Escorts and Mazda RX-7s we'll see a little bit later on with Jeff Judd and John Silcock.
Good to see he's got the boot strapped down on this one too. Completed his 5th run with the boot flapping around.
He did indeed. And
That's the shopping in the back.
Willie Hawes there looks like a 3:28.6, so well down on what his first run was, unfortunately.
Throaty sound of the Subaru Legacy heading up towards the flying finish for the final time this weekend.
So that time of Willie Hawes was a minute slower than what he recorded yesterday. So, yeah, that puts a dampener on the weekend as we see Russell Burgess now working his way up the hill.
Burgie on the windscreen to his mates.
He's had a few pretty cool toys. Was speaking to him the other day. He used to rally a Ford Escort. He said he sold that one to Rotorua and had to go and buy himself another one and convinced the wife it was an investment.
I'm sure you can ever convince anyone that buying a car is an investment. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Investment, maybe not so much.
But yeah, Russell Burgess, he's had a good clean week, or good clean day. He broke a shock absorber in the last run yesterday and borrowed one off Corey McCaskill, who we see on screen now, and said that the car is actually a million times better with Corey's suspension in it. So, big shout out to Corey. Yeah, but that's one of the wonderful things with rallying budgie is the camaraderie, and you certainly you don't want to see your mate put it on the trailer early if you can avoid it.
It's neat sort of walking up the road this weekend to go and do some of the driver interviews and whatnot, and seeing all the drivers out of their cars having yarn to each other, sharing information, sharing parts at times, just giving each other a hand, and yeah, it is a really cool part of our sport.
Yes.
He's just done the same as we saw in that
Steve Wellington.
It was Steve Wellington, wasn't it? That just leapt over the edge of the road there. There's just a little bit that must jut out.
Yeah. Not a bad line through that final corner from Corey, one of the local lads from Cromwell.
Good southern name, isn't it? Casper.
Yep.
Good job across the weekend for Corey. So we'll check out some of those times with Blair in just a moment. As we see back down to the valley floor where the stage begins, just to the left of your screen, you can just see some of the service park down there. The remains of the old hotel from way back in the gold rush days, the 1860s.
Yeah, you got me all excited when we were driving in and you said there's an old pub in here. I thought, that sounds fantastic.
I said there were remains of an old pub as one of the cars is pulled off to the side there. We'll try and see who that is, just trying to test my eyesight.
Is that,
great job by the camera crew to pick that up.
Simon Taylor. We know he had gearbox problems earlier today and potentially they've returned. So that's a shame for Simon because he was one of the quicker runners in Group 1.
He's off the road there. I don't think that'll be a problem. Road should stay live. As we wait to pick up the next competitor. Is that Terry Taylor? I think it is. It is Terry Taylor. 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 Terry Taylor one of the female competitors this weekend. She's had a good solid weekend as well. Up towards the Ripco hairpin as Taylor turns it in. Slippery. Black Subaru Impreza. Nice and circumspect there. Certainly tidy without maybe being spectacular. To the Hyundai hairpin now, the series of switchbacks. We've seen the Ripco hairpin, the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin there, and now up to where we are, final corner, Ben Nevis Station hairpin. And a nice job, points it in the right direction, up over the flying finish for Terry Taylor. And job well done. So yeah, the old hotel, we talk about it being a hotel. What days when people from all around the world came here to try and make a fortune in gold.
Yes, it looks like we might just have a slight delay as in proceedings. Couple of cars possibly stopped in there, so which is a real shame because obviously this run counts. So we'll just keep abreast of who, what, why, when, and how, and obviously report that back to you. But yeah, isn't it great to see? I think we've got 4 female drivers here. Just seen Terry Taylor there. We've got Jilly Fisher. We've got Deborah Kibble, a 2001 New Zealand Group N champion.
I can see a car on the road down there, Blair. I'm just trying to work out whether it's going at full speed or not, or whether it's a support vehicle going up to resolve a car that's stopped. Great pictures. It's a long way down there. It doesn't look it, but it is a long, long way away. And naked eye can't see the finish, the start line from where we are. So we're relying on the camera crew. As you can see, the breeze is pretty strong, wreaking havoc with our signage. The Ripco banners there. Started off nice and tight. Now the wind's just pushed them over a touch, but fantastic part of the country. Had a meal last night at Bannockburn, the Bannockburn pub, Bannockburn Hotel. Popular place for locals and tourists alike to have a wine and some nice food.
Or in your case, 3 separate meals, Budgie.
Oh yeah, you got to sample all of the local fare. An outstanding steak sandwich. Food actually all weekend's been great. Caterers done a fantastic job. Yep. So we might have a look at the...
Might just go to a quick ad break while we sort out what's going on at the bottom of the hill, and we'll be back with you shortly.
They created some more. Whitley not happy. Time out, I have to dance. But this is a very accomplished field, and even the youngsters have risen their game.
Jeppo gets out there pretty clean.
Right over in front of Stuart Robertson, but lucky no.
But let's keep watching the battle while we can.
Welcome back to the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200s. Boy, the wind is absolutely roaring through here now. You might be able to just about hear it now. Headsets, we're at a Portacob. Blair Bartels, I think the cars that had stopped, Andrew Lowe in the Mitsubishi Lancer, had some dramas early in the run, and that car has now been pulled out of the way, and I think we're about good to go, right?
Yeah, I think we won't be far off hitting the go button again, so that should be with Anthony Titau in the Nissan Pulsar GTIR, which we don't see a lot of these days in rallying, but we'll just run you through some of the times as it stands so far. So fastest combined times to date is a 4 minutes 56.4. That's James Dixon. We saw him on the Motobikes. He's just ahead of Corey McCaskill on a 5:15.5. Russell Burgess currently sitting third, a 5:16.3. So that was quite close between Corey and Russell. Corey would be quite relieved after lending him those shocks. wouldn't one of them be beaten by Burgie. Andrew Wright, the next one, as we see Anthony Titau there.
Titau in the Pulsar making his way up the fast bit of this Ben Nevis Station Road and come up towards the Ritco hairpin. And now more the technical part. See there, Pulsar just looking for some traction.
So speaking with Anthony a bit earlier today, and if you're eagle-eyed, you'll see in the front of the car the sump guard sticks out quite a way. And he said it's been very, very good for picking up rocks and throwing them over the front of the windscreen, which is not ideal.
There's certainly a few rocks around as he comes into the Hyundai hairpin, New Zealand hairpin. Minus the easy up that was down there a little while ago. It's disappeared.
Yeah, I think a few of those have been sacrificed to the gods. Those that haven't have been put away so that they don't need to be sacrificed.
Through the final quarter for Anthony Titau and up towards the flying finish. See what kind of time he can lay down.
We see Alistair Campbell now, one of the Highlands members.
Bright silver Subaru.
Yep, almost looks like a standard road car, this one.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, great to see Alistair out doing some skids, having some fun.
Very much on the pace too. Tito.
Yeah, he was 49th overnight, Alistair, out of close to 80 competitors. So for a fairly standard car, that's nothing wrong with that.
Up to the final corner here, the Ben Nevis Station hairpin for the final time. Takes the tight line through it and accelerates away to the flying finish.
We've seen Tito do a 2:48.3, so that's actually a little bit down on what we saw from him yesterday, 2:40.
Flying finish.
It'll be interesting. Obviously, two-wheel drive that car, and we'll see where that sort of slots in compared to the likes of Alistair Campbell's 2:44.2, as we see Deb Kibble, another one of our female competitors.
Tommy 2 number plate. She's got the whole collection, I think. Tommy 2, Tommy 3.
This championship female.
Kibble up the final Ben Nevis Station hairpin for the last time.
So that time of Brendan Mitchell's was 2:42.5, so it's actually faster than Alice Campbell in the four-wheel drive Impreza.
Yeah, it looked like it just at the, when you picked them up at the certain point of the road, when we went back he was further up the road, which is good to see.
Yep. As we see Gordon Beebe now in the BMW 318 Ice. We're used to seeing Gordon in a Datsun 120Y, which is for sale. Check out the trade listing.
Thinking of making a bid?
Well, no, he said he'd give me commission if I sold it.
Oh, right. Finder's fee.
Yeah. Actually, didn't, but yeah, we'll work on it.
Goes without saying, right? Yeah. Going to take our cut.
Gordon, he's certainly a bit of a hard charger, and you see the back of the BMW stepping out there, and he slides it into this tightening left-hander as he approaches the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Using all the road.
This is nice. Spectacular to watch.
The Hyundai New Zealand hairpin's called out a few over the weekend, hasn't it? Seen a few on the exit get a bit wide.
Yeah, some of the cross cars have especially run themselves into some problems there.
Yeah, we saw Ben Fretwell having all sorts of fun.
That looks like a lot of fun.
Sounds sweet too, the little BMW. Good strong little four-cylinder engine in there. Deb Kibble's time at 2:44.4, so just behind Brendan Mitchell.
Escort. And fully committed through that left-hander up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
He has been impressive this weekend, hasn't he, Budgie?
Yeah, what a legendary figure in New Zealand rallying Jeff Judd has been.
Very talented on both sides of the car.
Yep.
And travelled the world, contested the Production World Rally Championship with Mark Tapper from the co-driver's seat, and then with Suban Aksar as well. He's won the National Historic Championship back in the day.
He finishes with a good run through the Ben Nevis Station race. Mate John Silcock to follow. The cool thing about these two great competitors, two great Cantabrians, the two sons are competing in the same class.
But two 18-year-old sons, both named Harry.
Yeah.
Both competing in the cross cars, and yeah, they've been both very impressive to watch. So that's another battle we'll keep an eye on. But see the Group B replica RX-7 out there too. The Rotary just screaming. John, very accomplished driver. He too a New Zealand historic champion.
Already entered for the championship for the season ahead too. Great to see him commit to doing it.
Beautiful line around the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin there.
John Silcock up towards the finish line. See how his time measures up against his good mate Jeff Judd. Get those times, excuse me, for you in a moment. A little bit of a pause here until we see the next competitor. Just going behind the rock that we've dubbed all sorts of different names over the weekend.
You. Jeff Judd, so far, one of the quicker times we've seen in the second run, a 2:35.2. So we'll wait to see that time for John Silcock as we await Gilly Fisher, the blue Toyota Starlet.
Yeah, okay, it's blue. I had some issues yesterday. From a distance, it kind of looked a little purplish, but
as we see
I acknowledge it is blue.
Gilly working her way up the hill. Of course, she's sharing this car with her husband Adam, so Gilly runs in run one, and Adam jumps in and runs in run two. I think at the moment matrimonial honours are going the way of Adam. Great to see Gilly out competing. Done a lot of navigating, and just in the last couple of years got into some driving. We just wait for that time John Silcox to come through. But
so the combined home still Dixon, isn't it? That's in front, but I can comfortably say.
Yep.
Jeff Judd second overall now with a 5-minute 12.5 combined time.
He's some 3 seconds ahead of Corey McCaskill. So that's your top three at the moment. John Silcock's time through at 2:39.8, so that particular battle goes the way of Jeff Judd. Silcock slots in provisionally in 6th.
So we see Jilly Fisher exits the Ben Nevis station hairpin for the final time.
And that'll complete a solid weekend's work for Jilly. Just get the car back down the bottom for Adam to have a go. Just flicks up over the jump there at the flying finish. So we see Mauro Balzerini, Queenstown local lad.
Toyota Sprinter. Close there, very close to the bank. Closest local we've seen across the weekend, just about. The Hyundai New Zealand hairpin now.
He's just 2.6 seconds behind Tom Milliken, so we've seen Tom complete his second run at a 2:40.6. So a 2:38 or better will see him leapfrog Tom Milliken. Keep an eye on those times.
Flying finish, and we'll see that time shortly.
Jilly Fisher completed with a 3:49.7. That's a 44.6 for Balzerita, so that one goes the way of Milliken. We see the little front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla there, just struggling up the steep hill. That's Adrian Jones. Really is, we can't stress how steep that is uphill, so the slow corners, these little front wheel drive cars are really at a disadvantage. Just scramble their way up, works its way through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. That's a little more open on the gas, use that power, get it down.
So about another half dozen more rally cars, and then we'll be into some cross cars.
Yes, these are some of the two-wheel drive cars. Cross cars, then we'll have a small break as we see Willie Shortest just having a little bit of a moment out of the Repco hairpin there. And that tricky left hand that follows it, it's sort of just inconveniently placed for a lot of people, isn't it, Dale Butch?
Certainly caught a few people out across the weekends.
Willie there with the DX Corolla. If you want to know the history of that car, we went through all of that in the live stream yesterday. You can go back and have a look.
I wouldn't waste your time.
We
didn't know a whole lot of history about it.
You told me you were the expert in this this combination, Budgie, and I think we were both looking at each other. But great to see Willie out doing some skids. So 69th overnight, just behind Gordon Beebe. We'll see where they sort together. Looks like we've lost the Mitsubishi Mirage during the day of Caleb McDonald, unfortunately, says Alan Garrick. Very popular little cars, these Toyota Levins and Trunos.
The attrition rate hasn't been too bad over the weekend.
Yeah, a couple of high profile. I think the highest profile,
Yeah.
Ian Fitch. Real shame because he is an absolute delight to watch. Madman that is, Ian Fitch. By God, he's fast.
So Garrick up to the line now.
Just backs it off before the jump, just a little kick, but nicely done. And now we see the four-door escort of Scott Paul, father-son team. Right behind him will be his son Thomas in the Honda Civic, but at the moment we're seeing Scott hanging it out nicely in the Mark II Escort. So normally we just see the two doors as the rally car, but great to see him out doing some skids, hanging it out.
Could have put the family in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Probably would have been cheaper than putting his son in a
Separate car.
yeah, but it's through the Hyundai New Zealand here, but nice and tidy. It's that sideways style we love to see from the 40 Escorts.
Some more than others, with our tails.
I will admit that I do quite like the 40 Escorts.
Job from Paul.
Yeah. Nice and tidy out of the final corner. He'll work his way up.
So we'll have a look at some times and let's see where he stacks up against St. Thomas. Should be the next car that we see on track in just a moment.
I think honours were going the way of the boy
Civic.
as of yesterday. So that was a 2:52.1 for Scott Paul. We now see Thomas, the little front-wheel drive Civic, great little rally cars that, you know, fairly bulletproof from the factory. Just get in them, rev them hard, which is what he's doing. That VTEC system throws it through the Ben Nevis station hairpin, and I think that this will be quite a bit faster than Dad.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
So hopefully Thomas isn't looking for new accommodation when he gets home tonight. might find Dad's got home before him and changed the locks. So we see Ian Warren, who's been absolutely the class of the front-wheel drive cars here this weekend, and right up there amongst the front-running two-wheel drive cars overall. That despite, you know, being a 1600cc Nissan Pulsar. So you'll see the likes of Chris Hay with the Toyota MR2 a bit later on. Ian Warren certainly doesn't lack commitment. See the speed he carries there through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Nice and tidy, deceptively fast, really.
Up to the Ben Nevis station hairpin. Last start of 22 corners. Almost 3.6 kilometre piece of road. Warren will go up to the finish line now. Let's get a bit of hang time. Yep, just a little bit. Well, this is just about, I think, your favourite car in the field, isn't it?
It's a very pretty little car, this Mark 1 Escort of Thomas Good. A little bit wide through the left-hander, just sort of bounced out of a rut. You did concede that it is a lovely looking car. This.
It is. Oh, it's outstanding. Yeah,
Beautiful presented. A few lovely looking cars here that really stand out. Thomas certainly grabbing a hold of this. He's driven all sorts of cars over the years. Sweet sounding thing that this is. I think it might be a Toyota engine off the top of the head, but in that Paul family battle, a 238.1. So if I was Thomas, I'd be a little bit concerned that McKee wasn't going to work in the door when I get home.
Alright, as Good comes up to the line, should mean that we'll see the start of our cross-car competitors now. So good one in the distance, yes, there we go.
We're going to see Nicholas. You did some research on how to pronounce this.
I did, but now I've forgotten it. I saw Nicholas. Is it Deloisi? I think it's Deloisi.
I think you might be right.
If I've got that wrong, I apologise, and I apologise for having a terrible memory, because you did tell me.
You did tell both of us, to be fair, so neither of us really have an excuse, but it's not him. This is Richard Gallop. So we did see him do a bit of steering damage last time, Nicholas, so you might have got away with that one, Budgie.
Well, I would have if you hadn't thrown me under the bus just then. Anyways, this is the car shared with Ari Pettigrew, who's been running in the top three all weekend. So the car's definitely got some speed. Yellow comes up to the line now. We'll see what that time looks like. This is Sean Haggerty, isn't it?
This is Sean Haggerty, the mad Scotsman himself.
So Haggerty running in this group because he's got to get back down for the second run, where he'll drive his Impreza.
This is the car that he's sharing with young Harry Silcock.
He's trying hard here, isn't he, too, the Scotsman, with the Scottish St Andrew flag on top of the roof.
Oh, is that a spin?
Run it in.
Yeah.
Right around he goes.
No one ever said that Sean Haggerty was shy. And the 360 just to really throw some dust around for the VIPs there on the inside of the Ben Nevis station hairpin. He still managed some airtime over the finish line, but I dare say some of the words that are coming out of Sean's mouth at the moment won't necessarily be repeatable on the broadcast.
The only good thing about it is you can hardly understand. You might get away with it. He's a talented driver, though. I look forward to seeing him have another crack in the Subaru a little bit later on.
Absolutely. As we see Ben McLaren now, another second-generation driver. His father, Don McLaren, famous for his exploits in a rotary-powered Mark 1 Escort. Absolute weapon. Not quite sure if I'm actually talking about the driver or the vehicle there, but Hopper certainly one of the more enthusiastic rallying fans out there.
Villas had a good weekend.
Yeah, Ben's been doing a great job. He's former national champion, might have been defending national champion in grass karts, and certainly hasn't disgraced himself in the move up to the cross car. As we see Ben Huben now sharing this car with Ben Fretwell. Ben, another one that's this cross car battle is just so intense.
Bouncing across the ruts in the road.
Yeah, it's great when you see the cross cars, because obviously the suspension is all outboard, so you can actually see the suspension, the shocks working hard, the arms moving up and down and everything. So it's a whole other dynamic, because Ben uses all the road in the approach to the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
As he comes to the end of this last run through the Ben Nevis station test.
He's got that one slightly better than Sean Haggerty. You can see that from the approach, but he's right out wide, uses the berm on the outside. A few guys have been doing that to carry some extra speed.
Across the finish line.
He and Harry Judd, who we see on the screen now, are dead equal.
Oh, he's just understeered right off the outside of the Ripco hairpin.
Got it going again, but Harry will be filthy about that. As I said, he was dead equal with Ben Huben going into this run. That's the sort of mistake that's going to cost him dearly.
Yeah, that certainly cost him 2 or 3 seconds at least, doesn't it? Yeah. Understeering off. Once you get out to that soft stuff, it's hard to get back online. Onto the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
And we've seen Dad Jeff already, but I don't think Harry will be super happy with that mistake. He's pretty frank about his driving, and
talented young driver, though, that is for sure. Certainly someone to watch over the ensuing years.
No doubt about that. He's the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree in that respect. So Harry up over the line, and we'll get some of these times through to you ASAP. It's Ben McLaren with a big jump up there to a 2:21. That is right on the pace.
Wow, that's a very, very good run through for him. That might be the first half of the...
should be Job Quantock, I think.
No, I think we're done. Job will be in the top 15.
Of course, yes.
So
lucky one of us is onto it here, Budgie.
I think what we might do is take a little bit of a break. We've got a preview to show you. We'll be back with some of the top 15 competitors in the not too distant future.
We're here testing the 84 ahead of Golden 1200, and of course really looking forward to the event. Every time we get to put this big motor in the car and the big wings, it's probably the most exciting car I drive. It's a lot of fun, and today's really just a chance to go through the system to make sure everything's working. We obviously run the car in this spec only once a year, maybe twice, and it's obviously been over 12 months since we had this motor, so chance to fine tune, just iron out any little gremlins and make sure once we get to the event we're ready to go. But yeah, as I say, with this one you got to tighten the belts a little bit more, and you just got to grin from ear to ear as you're heading up the hill. Yeah, obviously we're really looking forward to the second running of the event. There's been a lot of work going by the whole team to make the event happen, and obviously a lot more complications with COVID. We haven't probably been able to quite put together an event that we would have liked in terms of having lots of spectators and a really great spectacle and a great show. But in saying that, I think it's vital that the event's still going ahead. So it's awesome to see, a full field of 80 competitors, live stream, a lot of things that we had in place that we've still been able to follow through on, and I think we're still going to have a great spectacle. So it's awesome to have the event still going. We're looking forward to a good weekend. I'm sure the competitors will love it, and this is, I guess, starting the history of the event to carry on into the long term, into the future. Yeah, I think we've still got a good field. Unfortunately, we're going to be missing a few of the North Island competitors, but it's still anyone's game. The way the results are formatted is that it actually takes 2 of your runs, and it's your last run on Sunday that is part of that. You don't get a second chance. So it puts a lot of pressure on, and it means that the result is not actually final to that last run. And I think it's anybody's game. Fitchy on the quad's always very fast. We've got, I think, the most cross cars we've ever seen on an event in New Zealand. I think we've got 16. Cross cars are always very fast. And then, of course, we've got up to 10 open class four-wheel drive cars. So it's anyone's game, but not only overall, but I think within all the classes. I think every class is going to be close fought, and that's what we want to see. We want to see close battles, and we want it to go right down to the wire on Sunday.
Photos out of here, and then up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Very steep, probably not doing it justice. That is a very steep part of road there. See the change in surface on the exits.
Yeah, a little bit tidier than we saw from right.
And up towards the flying finish. Get some Series 8 on too.
And quick this weekend. Looking a little circumspect here at the moment. Yeah, I
might have an issue there, does he?
Yeah, I think that something's not quite right with that Toyota Celica.
Throaty sound of the Subaru Legacy heading up towards the flying finish for the final time this weekend.
Yeah, that puts a dampener on the weekend as we see Russell Burgess now working his way up the hill. Is the camaraderie, and you certainly don't want to see your mate put it on the trailer early if you can avoid it.
It's neat sort of walking up the road tidy without maybe being spectacular. To the Hyundai hairpin now, the series of switchbacks. Seen the
day, and if you're eagle-eyed, you'll see in the front of the car the sump guard sticks out quite a way, and he
takes the tight line through it and accelerates away to the flying finish.
.3, so that's actually a little bit down on what we saw from him yesterday at 244.1. We now see Brent. New Zealand hairpins caught out a few over the weekend, hasn't it? Seen a few on the exit get a bit wide.
Yeah, some of the cross cars have especially run themselves into some problems there.
Yeah, we saw Ben Fretwell had both very impressive to watch, so that's another battle we'll keep an eye on. But fantastic to see the Group B replica RX-7 out there too. The Rotary just screaming John. Very accomplished driver, he too. A New Zealand matrimonial honours are going the way of Adam. And great to see Jilly out competing. Done a lot of navigating, and Queenstown local lad. That's a little more open on the gas. use that power, get it down.
About another half dozen more.
But great to see Willie out doing some skids. Points over tonight, just behind Gordon Beebe. We'll see where they put together. Separate car, yeah, but it's through the Hyundai New Zealand here, but nice and tidy. It's that sideways style we love to see from the 40 Squads.
Some more than others, tells.
Throws it through the Ben Nevis station hairpin, and I think that this will be quite a bit faster than Dad.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
So hopefully Thomas isn't looking for new accommodation when he gets home tonight. Home before him and change the locks. So we see Ian Warren, who's been absolutely the class of the front-wheel drive cars here this weekend, and right up there amongst the front-running standout. Thomas certainly grabbing a hold of this. He's driven all sorts of cars over the years. We're going to see
This is Sean Haggerty, isn't it?
This is Sean Haggerty, the mad Scotsman himself.
So Haggerty running in this group because
no one ever said that Sean Haggerty was shy. And the 360 just to really throw some dust around for the VIPs there on the inside of the Ben Nevis station hairpin.
Driver though, I look forward to seeing another track in the Subaru a little bit later on.
Absolutely, so we see Ben McLaren now, another second generation driver, his father Don McLaren.
Last run through the Ben Nevis station test.
He's got that one slightly better than Sean Haggerty, you can see that from the approach, but he's right out wide, uses the berm on the outside. A few guys have been doing that to carry some extra speed.
Oh, he's just understeered right off the outside of the Ripco hairpin.
Got it going again, but Harry will be filthy about that. As I said, he was dead equal with Ben. The photos out of here, and then up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Very steep.
They created some more, Whitley not happy. Time out I have to dance, but this is a very accomplished field, and even the youngsters have risen their game.
Double dipper gets out there pretty clean.
Right over in front of Stuart Robertson, but lucky no. But let's keep watching the battle while we can.
It's the champion.
Chris Simon leads. Zach Winko now with the third as Rome McConkie drops down to fifth. Close as that.
This is a very accomplished field. Oh no! got the wings that Red Bull gave him.
Wardy's still there.
Donuts, anyone? created some more, Whitley not happy. Time out of Hampton Downs, but this is a very accomplished field, and even the youngsters have risen their game.
Dipper gets out there pretty clean.
Wide open in front of Stuart Robertson, but lucky no.
But let's keep watching the battle while we can.
It's the champion.
Chris Simon leads. Zach Winko now at the third as Roma Conky drops down to fifth.
Close as that.
Welcome back to the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 as we count down the start to the final group and the top guns to get going in around about 20 minutes time. Top 15 will take place. It's 1 minute intervals for this second group until we get to the top 15, and then we understand Blair Bartels it'll be a 2 minute gap, which gives us plenty of time to assess their times and work out what a combined time will look like, where they sit in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah, so we'll just bring you up to speed after Group 1. It's actually Ben McLaren whose combined time is better than anyone's, a 4 minutes 50.3. So he's gone Sean Haggerty currently sits second, so he'll be kicking himself because I think the 3 seconds that he lost out to Ben McLaren was all there and then some, albeit the 360 was quite impressive. And Harry Judd third, James Dixon the first of the non-cross. Then Jeff Judd currently sitting sixth, the first of the traditional rally cars, I guess we'd say, just ahead of Ian Warren. So Ian Warren, that's a pretty impressive performance to be just 1.4 seconds behind in the little Pulsar. Corey McCaskill, Russell Burgess and Thomas Paul currently round out your top 10, although we are expecting a few movements and shakes at the top end of town as we get into Group 2.
Yeah, just looking through that list of the times from yesterday. So Hayden Patton the quickest, obviously, with a 2 minute 8.2. The top 15 as it stands now, obviously we've got to add the time that they're going to do in this second run to the mix. Matt Penrose holds down second place in the crosscar, 2:19.2. Ari Pettigrew also in the crosscar at 2:20.6. Mike Wellington in fourth. Neil Webb in fifth. Sean Haggerty in sixth. All of those guys. Road conditions. I know talking to Hayden, he felt that the road changed each run he went on.
Yep. So Matt Shand in a three-way tie for 70th with Alan Garrick and Andrew Lowe. We know that Andrew Lowe retired from his run, so we won't see him record a time, but amazing, isn't it, that after a day's competition you have three competitors in three very different cars all recording the same time. As we see Steve Taylor, the old RX-7 bouncing its way up the hill. Suspension technology's come a long way, and when we see some of the lots of Hayden Paddling that Hyundai i20 AP4++, later on, as they nickname Ed, doesn't get affected by those bumps. The suspension just soaks it up. But Steve's working pretty hard. This has got the Subaru engine and the Mazda RX-7, bit of a different combination, but that's the beauty of events like the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. You can bring whatever you want, basically.
Absolutely.
Put a roll cage in it, some safety equipment, and off you go.
To the finish line he goes.
Obviously get the times through to you as they come through to us. Matt Shand, it was a 2:48.8. We see Steve Gray in the old Ford Capri. Loves a good Capri. Whoa, right out wide.
Tell you what, you don't want to be disappearing off that little edge.
No, there's a fair bit of a drop down. That was...
That's the fast way back to the service park, that way.
Yes. So a little bit scrappy from Steve Gray.
We all just need to breathe for a moment, because we talked about a zip line down there.
You were trying to figure out how Sean Haggerty could run another vehicle.
Yeah.
He's already running in both groups.
So a little bit of a wild moment there for Gray.
I think he'll be quite relieved now to go and put the car on the trailer as we see Chris Hay.
As BB said, he hasn't run today, so this is his first look at the track on Sunday.
He was the fastest in the two-wheel drive cars yesterday.
A little bit tidier than Gray through that corner towards the Hyundai hairpin. Nice and tidy. This has been a good run so far for Chris Hay.
It's 37th. That's the fastest of the two-wheel drive cars. And obviously four-wheel drive up this big steep hill's a massive advantage. Lots of power. Oh, tucked in beautifully up over the bank there.
This is a good run. I'd be surprised if this isn't the fastest time we did yesterday.
35.7 yesterday, so we'll wait to see that time as it comes through.
You can see just there how much gap he's pulled on his rival.
Absolutely, as we see Adam Fisher now.
Fisher.
Blue Toyota stable.
This car's had plenty of work over the weekend, hasn't it?
It has.
Yep. 12 runs in total. It's the 12th and final time we'll climb the mountain. Just a bit tucked in a little bit too tight there, grabbing some of those ruts.
So Chris Hay did a 2:33.5, so 4 seconds faster this time. And that puts him just ahead of Jeff Judd as the fastest of the two-wheel drive cars. Don't think we're expecting any more, so...
Just on 3 seconds, I think he's the two-wheel drive champion.
Yep. So we see Adam Fisher.
The Ben Nevis Station hairpin for the final time.
Oh, a little bit scrappy. Careful, we don't need him coming to join us in the commentary box.
Well, I heard there was dessert getting pushed out in the VIP tent right about now, so maybe he thought he'd stop it and grab himself one of those brownies.
You're just hoping he was going to come
drops one this way, that'd be great.
Come and whip the headset off so that you can go and have a bit of a gorge budgie.
I had enough yesterday to do me for the week.
So we'll wait for that time.
So there won't be Wayne Pittams, will there? He's not competing.
2:50.8. So next we'll be into the cross carts. Oh, no, there was a bit of a change up in the running order. So we'll run this one on the fly a little bit. Could be the quads actually.
No, I can see a rally car heading up the hill here. So
okay. Oh, it could be Jasara Cockshawn actually. No, Paul Beattie.
There's Paul Beattie, yeah.
A red Evo 8. So we'll figure it out eventually.
There you go.
Paul's had a steady weekend. Keeping it all nice and tidy and keep the car shiny side up. Just be careful what we say. Put the commentator's curse on him as he comes through the Repco hairpin.
Just runs a little wide too.
Yeah.
Compromised that left-hander as you talked about previously.
It's one of my favourite subjects, Budgie. You got to get a good exit out of the Hyundai, out of the Repco hairpin. Otherwise, you take forever to get up to the Hyundai hairpin.
We had a couple of recce's in the rental car.
We don't need to talk about how quick the rental car went up there.
Well, you weren't pushing. You were driving responsibly as you should do in a rental car.
Of course, of course.
So there's Beattie up towards at the Ben Nevis station hairpin.
Yeah, that anti-lag just crackling away. Keeping the turbo boost. A little bit of understeer there for Paul. Just uses that sort of berm on the outside to really push him up the hill. A little bit of airtime there for Paul. Dave Ollis.
There's another one just caught out a little bit wide and then not in a great position to take the left-hander.
Has he got a problem?
Looks like there might be a problem here for Ollis. That is not going anywhere near full speed.
Yeah, hopefully you can keep that going, but well, the number plate says it all, doesn't it? Oh no!
Yeah.
Yes, so Dave Wallace in the run where it counts. This is the thing, you've got to put it together when it counts.
Is he going to pull off there? I think he might. No?
No, he's just slowly does it. So we see Dave Ollis working his way up the hill. We also see Stu Weber coming towards the Repco hairpin out of the corner of our eye. So
hope we don't get to a situation where Stu catches him. Stu will be on the charge. Ex-Possum born Subaru.
Ex-Possum, yep. Dave Ollis just round that final corner and up the hill, so we should be clear, but Stu Weber works his way up the hill. He's already through that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Yeah, tribute to the late great Roger Freeth, of course, long-time co-driver of Possums.
Yeah, and Stu worked on this car when Possum ran it in the late 90s. Oh, using all the road on the exit of the Ben Nevis station hairpin. It's just so great to see him. Yeah, this is a very valuable car nowadays. It's great to see Stu using it as it's intended. It's been a fantastic show all weekend.
Certainly has, fishtailing it up the road towards the flying finish as Duncan McCrosty second stage on our screen. Motorsport Mazda AP4 championship winning car from 2017, Andrew Hawkeswood.
Yeah, so we see Stu Weber with a 2:26.2, so that's a pretty good time. Duncan McCrosty, we've been impressed with Duncan. He's starting to get a bit more aggressive with this car after a season in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship last year.
Nice and tidy. Hardly seems to ever make a mistake, Duncan.
Yeah, well, he was fourth in the championship last year for that very reason. Stu Weber slots into a provisional fifth and the first of the traditional rally cars behind the cross cars and the bike of James Dixon. Duncan McCrosty now, big jump over the finish. He's a little bit untidy through the hairpin.
So now we're into cross cars, I think.
Yeah, no, yes, no, Dean Bond.
Dean Bond, yeah, we haven't
And then
seen
quads.
Jasara Cockshawn either yet.
Yeah.
She may not have started, perhaps. There's a little bit of a gap here.
Dunky actually deceptively fast there because he's 2/10 quicker than Stu Weber.
There you go.
With a 2:26.0.
So where does that put him overall?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me all the difficult questions at once. That puts Duncan up to third provisionally on a 4:55, so just ahead of Harry Judd, just behind a spinning Sean Haggerty. So that's an impressive performance from Dunky. And potentially the leading rally four-wheel drive class car.
Here is Bond on screen.
It's Bond. Dean Bond. I would say, yeah, 014. They've been giving out a few of those licences lately.
Not by the Clutha Licensing Trust, they just support it.
Yes, indeed. But Bondi, yeah, very, very accomplished rally driver, former junior national rally champion back in the day, driving a Daihatsu Charade. Moved into something slightly more powerful now. This is the ex-Chris West, Ross Meekings, Tom Pritchard, Evo 6.5. Mark Tapper also having a steer of this one a few times over the years.
Throws it into the Ben Nevis here.
Yeah, no lack of commitment there from Bondi. Should be a good run. See what sort of time he can put on the board. Can he rival Duncan McCrosty? It's actually a battle of a sort of Clutha locals. Duncan now spending a bit more time over this way. Bannockburn, but
first of our quad bikes. Who's this? The first of them.
So that'll be Reese Young, Yamaha YFZ. Great job, certainly I think the standard of the quad bikes that we've seen this weekend through the Ripco here. But you see the way that these guys, you watch, obviously you can see a lot more of the way that the riders distribute their weight across the bike to make it work. So they're leaning forward under the brakes, get that weight across the front axle, then bring it across onto that inside front wheel, shift the weight, and then back as you get on the power. So it's a physical job.
You've certainly seen over the years Fitchy get to an end of a run and then need a little pause and break to get the heart rate down and just recover.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, isn't he?
It's a physical thing as much as just a driving thing.
So as we see Reese Young now into that Ben Nevis station hairpin. Of course, Ben Nevis station, great supporters of the Ben Nevis station Golden 1200, along with the likes of Hyundai New Zealand, Repco, Paddon Racing Group, Max brake pads, side windows. I mean, these events just don't happen without all these supporters.
Here is the second of our...
Should be Ian Newman. One of the super quads. You see a few wings and things like that on the bike, try and keep it planted. Not the active wings like we'd see on Ian Fitch's bike, but certainly sounds pretty wild, that bike of Ian Newman's.
He goes up to the end of the stage, fine finish. One more to go. Should be Mark Willis.
Yep.
The last of the super quads, the Honda TRX.
Yeah, he's been another one like Fitchy. You watch him, he really moves his body weight around. Right in there. Get that power down. Trying to be in about 15 different places. It's a pretty impressive dance, isn't it, Budgie?
It certainly is. Just anecdotally here, looking at the wheel he picked him up, I think he might have dropped some time on this run.
Possibly, because he's been quite quick.
Yeah, either that or...
You see, Reese Young was a 2:53.6.
So into the Hyundai, a little bit wide there, but Bristol's control up towards the last corner now. Then Nevis hairpin. Nevis throws it in. Power down, nice job in the final hairpin. And away to the flying finish. What's it going to do to our times overall?
Waiting on some of those quad times to come through as we get into the...
Newman's still not yet posted. Just the cross cars.
This should be Paul Bugler. It's certainly been such a competitive battle amongst these cross cars, hasn't it? You know, when you look at all the guys that are there and you know, time by Ben McLaren possibly ruining, not quite, you know, just a little bit of a lack of experience in the car yesterday to put him inside that top 15 too.
A little wide on exit, but no problem.
Beautifully done by Paul there. He's up over the flying finish. fooled. He works his way into the red coat hairpin. That fast approach, hard on the brakes. Such an easy corner to overshoot. We've seen so many people do it. Just carry that little bit too much speed. Keep it nice and tight to the left-hander afterwards. Work your way up the hill. Round this tight left-hander that Reese is about to come into here. We saw Steve Bray having all sorts of nervous moments. And then into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Then it's back on the power, up the hill towards the Ben Nevis station hairpin. Around there, so crucial to get a good exit for that big run up to the finish. The jump at the flying finish.
There's no Goulds. Obviously out of the air.
Yeah, just uses that berm beautifully, just runs the car up to it. Put more lock into it, scrubbing off speed more than necessary. This is Benny Fretwell. We saw him have a big moment last run. Says he got that one sorted as he comes into the red coat hairpin. Looks like he might have learned his lesson there. Very nicely done, actually. Very nice. Get that power down. It's been normally seen swinging spanners on Hayden Patton's car or one of the customer cars that Patton raced at Root. Finally been let out to play in one of the cross cars. It's the Andy Smith owned car. I've seen many people come to have a run in that one. Like Mark Tapper at Jack's Ridge, Ripco Battle at Jack's Ridge. He works his way up towards that Ben Nevis station hairpin. See what sort of time we can get for Ben.
Darcy Prendergast, yeah. We've seen running the quads previously here.
Yes.
Last time there in 2020. Before the world changed with COVID, a week later. Got a jersey of Rocky Hudson's that I borrowed. I said I'll give it to you in 3 weeks' time at Otago. Didn't see him for a year and a half.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully we're sort of on the flip side of that now, and great that we can be here at Ben Nevis Station at the highest public road in the country, and such an amazing variety of vehicles here. What a fantastic weekend it's been, Budgie, and it's just getting better as we count down towards that top 15.
Ooh, just a touch wide there to bounce it over the edge of the road for a second. It's finished.
Through the Ripco hairpin. It just sort of ran out of steam. Got the wrong gear. These little cross cars have a 600cc motorcycle. You've really got to work them hard. You've got to make them rev, and if they've got nothing. If it drops off the cam, you're in a world of trouble, and that's what we saw with Ollie there. Had to dip the clutch. Hear it screaming in the background. Really do rev.
Make his way up to the final corner. He certainly dropped some time as we see the next one approaching. Way up high.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a rough ride this time for Ollie Ward.
A little bit scrappy. We'll see Dad Jeff a little bit later on in the Subaru in the top 15.
The talented youngster today. Another one to keep an eye on.
Senior talented youngsters. This is Harry Silcock.
Harry's made up some good time here.
He's had a really strong Sunday. He had a great Saturday. John was saying just a couple of laps of the paddock before he came down here. The opportunity to share the car with Sean Haggerty. Hopefully he doesn't share the lines with Sean Haggerty as we come out of the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin and into the scene of that 360 at the Ben Nevis Station hairpin.
To that final hairpin. He's taking a little bit better than his more experienced
teammate. Yeah, it just uses the berm. And I guess the big question is, with that spin, will Harry beat Sean? And then will he be invited back to drive the car? All right, so we go to now Graham Shearing. It's the ex-Kim Austin Mitsubishi Starion V8. Just listen to it.
Hillclimb specialist, this thing.
Yep, yeah, big Chev V8 under the bonnet. It's a car that held the record at Ashley Forest for almost 20 years. The late great Tim Austin. Originally built by Don Hickman. Graham gave us the big restoration and now gets it out and uses it quite a bit. It's fantastic to see and hear.
What's happened to those times, BB? As June makes his way up towards Canada, New Zealand's hairpin.
Just listen to that scream. It's very, very much a point and squirt car, the Starion. See if he can get some airtime. Come through. Harry Silver. He does go ahead of Sean Haggerty by 1.7 seconds as we see Kevin Laird on screen now.
Excellent job from young Silcock.
Absolutely. 1.1 seconds behind Ben McLaren. At the moment, that's your top three. McLaren, Silcock, Haggerty, then McCrosty and Judd. Harry Judd, that is, and Harry Silcock. So both the sons have taken bragging rights over the fathers.
Certainly have. Next generation is here, BB.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, we've got to watch ourselves. Seen young Buds Haggerty. He seems to know what he's talking about. But Kevin Laird, right up on the bank on the inside of the Ben Nevis station hairpin and using all the exit as well. But up over the finish line for Kevin.
We must be getting close to the start of this top 15.
Absolutely. Jason Clark, I think there's only a handful of cars left. Long trip down from Blenheim for Jason.
Go hairpin for him. Just a little bit compromised there, just running a touch wide. BB's favourite line.
Rinse and repeat. But Jason, a long time rallying competitor, loves these sprints events. Doing a great job. Quite a nice line there through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Yeah, nice and tidy, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to get that power down. Approaches, it's hard on the brakes for the Ben Nevis hairpin. You really just got to watch that surface on the inside, especially on the entry. It's really bony, the road right down to the bedrock. A little bit rough. Seen 2:24.4 from Kevin Laird, so that's quite a bit more competitive than we've seen him so far.
Moser Russ now.
Yep, so far Moser Russ, the Evo 6.
Oh, understeers it. A little bit wide, recovers.
Still hasn't been down to Redco and got that race tape to sort out that rear bumper skirt.
Drops a couple of seconds there, probably easiest to recover, but
yeah, untidy for Stefan, unfortunately.
Six runs. Fatigue probably starting to become a bit of a factor there. I just feel the wind takes it out of people.
Yes, Ben Fretwell up to a provisional third as well now that we've got this time sorted.
Excellent.
As I see our lift homes just left us off screen there, the helicopter. Oh, Stefan Moser Russ using all the road on the exit, both sides. Not necessarily the fast way to get it done, but it certainly keeps everyone on their toes.
Well, certainly getting his money's worth. Now, this is the first of the top 15. Andrew Rudd on screen as we count down the top 15 competitors from yesterday's action.
So he actually qualified 14th, but we need to run a safety gap after the bikes, and that's obviously part of... oh, look at him hanging it out.
Wow.
He is trying hard, Andrew Rudd. Yesterday he was sort of not super quick, and then he really just laid down that final run. So he's a bit of an expert at laying it all out there when it really counts. Look at that hunt right down, Budgie. Get that head out of the windstream.
Absolutely.
Right up high, using the motocross lines. He'll use that berm, get the power down.
Well, this will be a good indication of where we're at with the top 15. So Rudd, who actually qualified as Leah says 14th fastest. Jeff Ward was the lucky driver that snuck in to the top 15 with a 2:26.6. Rudd with a 2:26.2. But we've had this little built-in gap now just for safety purposes after the bike.
Looks like a 2:27.7 there for Andrew Rudd.
So we can see the drivers that will be following us shortly. Group 1, John Spencer will be there. Ray Casey, Dave Quantock. Jeff Ford comes in. Sean Haggerty.
So Andrew
Warrington
Rudd
brothers.
slots in there in 5th place so far. Just behind Sean Haggerty.
So there you go. So already we're seeing some of those competitors that were in the second group upstaging those in the top 15. As here is Jeff Ward, that famous Richard Mason Subaru that I think is the most successful rally car in New Zealand.
The most successful in the history of the Bright Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Say the one you'll see at the end of the day is not too far behind it nowadays. The Hyundai i20 AP4 Plus car. Yep, so Jeff, great to see him out there enjoying this car.
Getting more and more familiar with it every time he hops in it. There he is through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Beautiful, tidy exit there from Jeff. Just gets that power down. There's plenty of it. Hear that distinctive Subaru bark.
Nicely done. Nice tight line for Jeff Ward up to the finish. So we'll see what he will add to his 2:26.6 yesterday in just a minute. Should be John Spencer, our resident Australian.
2:22.5 for Jeff Ward. So that's going
to bring him up, I think.
That's a big time. That's a statement.
Well, it's more than 4 seconds quicker than what he did yesterday.
So that I think might slot him into third ahead of Ben Fretwell. Possibly even second ahead of Harry Silcock. Possibly. It was a 2:26 yesterday, wasn't it? So we'll wait for the top. It puts him to the top so far.
Wow, so
4:49.1. So Jeff Ward, that's what a time to find 3-4 seconds and bring out the big run.
Outstanding. So it'll be John Spencer that we see next. You just see the dust down in the valley working his way up towards us.
Dunedin's favourite West Islander.
He did a 2:25.9 yesterday. Hit Ben Terry sitting with him across the weekend. I'm not sure if he's in the car right now.
Yeah, obviously there's certain things that you just can't help, but very, very experienced over in Australia.
I'm sure that was as tidy as he'd like. Out of the Ripco hairpin. Just cost him a second or two there as Spencer now works his way up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Bit of a tighter line through that tightening left-hander. It's just a little bit sideways out of the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin, so probably not the tidy run that John was looking for. Of course, we haven't seen the times yet. He could make a liar out of us quite easily. It's been known to happen before. Not too bad through that Ben Nevis Station hairpin and up towards the flying finish. Bit of hang time for John Spencer. We'll just wait for that time to come through. But I think
we should see a couple of cross carts next.
No, so he did make a liar out of us because he'll go to the top with a 2:22.2.
2:22.2, wow.
That would excite Richie Benno. 2:22.2.
Been a rough week for Australian cricket, that's for sure.
Yes.
Rod Marsh, Shane Warne.
Absolutely. This one's just a bit more of a gap than we're probably expecting.
Winter in the cross car, it may be that we've just seen a change in vehicle, potentially, so...
We're certainly hearing him coming. Jack Winter, young fellow with a lot of promise showing.
Seems to be on the pace as we see him pick him up on the live stream. Bites off a little more than he needed to there on that left-hander.
So this, I think, it's the car he's been sharing with Nicholas Gialoisi. impressive so far, Budgie.
Yep, so far so good for Winter. Should be followed by another cross car. Joe Quantock will be next. In the New Zealand hairpin now. That's his way as he tears off up to the final corner in Nevis Station hairpin. Nice and tidy through there. This could be a good time. Is it good enough to put him to the top? And as Winter comes up to the flying finish, their time in a few seconds.
Fantastic rally safe timing system that we use now.
So John Spencer currently sitting at the top of the combined standings. Jeff Ward in second, but Winter I think should drop in somewhere around first. Touch and go between him and Spencer. Job Quantock will be the next of our competitors, another of the cross cars.
Yeah, it's been a good battle going the way of one of the few that's going the way of Dad, Dave, in the Skoda.
Job was on the podium here last time round, 2 years ago.
In that very car.
In the same car that Dad's driving this weekend as we see him tearing off up the mountain towards us. Pick him up on the live stream in just a second. Start to see the dust there, and here is Job.
He's saying he's really enjoying the car. You can just absolutely grab it by the scruff of the neck and throw it around.
Very talented young driver, Job Quantock. Certainly the best of the sport. This is a little bit wide there.
He's telling me he recovered it pretty well.
Yep. Very handy driver. So Ray Casey would be next, and then Dave Quantock. So
a few of those guys have really started to put some big times down in that last run. Of course, now you turn up the boost and put the new tyres on and
see what you got.
It's Job now into the Ben Nevis hairpin. So we've seen Jack Winter a time of a 2:21.0.
So he goes to the top.
Yep.
As Quantock goes over the flying finish, I think Quantock will be in pretty good shape too. Look to see him maybe eclipse Winter's time once the timing shows up in 30 seconds or so. So it should be Ray Casey next. Some of these competitors around this sort of part of the field, Dave Quantock, Mike Tall, sort of think that they may be able to have something for some of the competitors that were ranked ahead of them on day one. Certainly feel Tall might have had a little bit in his back pocket to play with potentially.
Yeah, I know a few of the competitors, when we get into the four-wheel drive turbo cars, they've got the ability to have different maps in the vehicle, and it's just a twist of a switch for another 50 or 100 horsepower. Yeah, you don't want to necessarily run it all the time, but for the final run, you sort of throw everything at it and
hope for the best, right?
Yeah, pretty much. She's all guts or glory, but we see Ray Casey. This is the ex-Andy Martin car that finished second in the Rally Challenge class of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship in 2021. But Ray, certainly, he's been a big improver as the weekend's gone on. Made that top 15, but he's been setting some impressive times. Nicely done through there. And it is Job Quantock that goes to the top at 2:20.9 in that final run.
So that's the fastest we've seen on the final run of anyone so far.
Yes.
By 1/10 over Jack Winter.
Yep. You'd hardly call that daylight.
No, not a lot. He did have 3/10 to play with coming into the run, so
4/10 in total.
4/10 in total. Not much in it. Don't blink.
Over 2 runs of a 3.6 kilometre course. So Ray Casey, he'll be up over the finish line very shortly. Fraser will get that time through hopefully very shortly.
So Dave Quantock should be the next competitor we see. That'll be in the Skoda AP4. You can see the top 10. That's where we are at. Dave Quantock next. Mike Tall Ian Fitch won't be starting, even though he was 7th fastest yesterday. Unfortunately, he is out of the running on that super quad. Sean Haggerty.
There's Ray Casey there at 2:24.2, so that's not going...
That's not going to put him too far further up the road.
No, that would be the slowest of the top 15 we've seen so far.
No, 2:25 from Ward, I think, might have eclipsed that. 2:22.4, was it?
No, 2:24.2.
Oh, 2:24.2, excuse me. So Casey, yep, not quite there with that one. Here is Dave Quantock in the Skoda AP4.
Certainly sounds like he's got the boost well screwed up. I reckon Axel first run on Saturday, so he's sort of playing a little bit of catch up, but really laid down a marker in the last run before this that suggests that he's here to play and play for keeps.
Quantock there just a little bit wide out of the...
Oh, a little bit scrappy there.
Okay, he's certainly trying to find some extra time here, but maybe just trying to touch too hard.
Nicely through the tightening left-hander there and up to the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. That was nice out of there.
Too, yeah.
On the big run up to the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Final corner, one last chance to make some time, get that power down nice and smooth. Nicely done out of there.
Good finish to the stage for David Quantock. We'll see if that'll lift him up some spots. He was sort of one I thought that might be able to find some time. He and this next competitor, Mike Tall, did a 2:23.5 yesterday, Mike Tall, but as Blair was explaining, I think we can see him turn up the power a wee bit in his car.
We only saw Mike do 2 runs yesterday. Now, yesterday it was your best of the 3 runs. Today it's your final one that you add together. Dave Quantock there at 2:18.9. That's a big marker.
That is a very good run from David Quantock. Thought he had it in him.
So that should put him to the top of the standings, because I think he was faster than Son Job yesterday as well.
Yep.
So that will put him to the top of the standings by quite some margin, some 3.3 seconds.
All right, so Mike Tall on the stage. Here he is.
So yeah, they had a problem with the ECU where the altitude was messing with the coolant temperature sensor, and it was... Basically, it's going to be more... I can't explain it. It's a computer thing.
You could just say computer thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you could actually get a better working one at Repco there through the hairpin. But, it's certainly... plenty of power in the little Mirage, a great little pocket rocket sort of format. We've seen him and Neil Webb with different versions of it. Picks up the inside of the corner through the Titan left-hander there. He is absolutely trying, Mike Tall, through that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. A beautiful exit, nice and smooth.
As he comes up to the final corner, Ben Nevis Station hairpin. What's he got here for us? Trying to get that power down as early as you can.
Yeah, beautifully done. Used just the right amount of road there, so very, very good exit for Mike Tall. Oh, huge airtime over the jump. You see that, Budgie?
Absolutely. So those 2 competitors, Dave Quantock, Mike Tall, have thrown the gauntlet down to the likes of the 2 Wellington brothers, Neil Webb, Sean Haggerty, who I think we should see, no, it'll be Steve Wellington, that we should see next.
It'd be interesting to see if they had any work to do on that car of Steve Wellington's. Just in that final run, he just clipped a bit of the scenery, and that's a 2:19.0 for Mike Tall, so 1/10 slower than Dave Quantock.
But it'll be enough to go in front because he had half a second coming into the day, so Mike Tall to the top.
By 0.4 of a second.
So there we go. Mike Tall holds down position number 1. He's got a 0.4 of a second gap over David Quantock. Steve Wellington on track, about to see him.
Yeah.
He, Haggerty, Webb have some work to do if they want to remain where they are.
Just about to see Steve Wellington. Yeah, comes into view there.
Wind has got up. It's been breezy all day, but you can really hear it now.
Buffeting away as Steve Wellington works his way into that Repco hairpin. Nice and tidy there, gets the car moved back over to optimise that exit out of the left-hander. That was really nicely done. Now he can get that power down as he works his way up through this right-hander. Just picks up the inside, won't disturb him too much. Into this tightening left-hander. Nice and out wide. Now he cuts it back in. This is a beautiful run from Steve Wellington as he makes his way up to the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Sometimes feel that with the Evos, they don't look as spectacular as they don't give away how fast they are actually going.
Correct, giving away a little bit in suspension travel and things like that compared to the AP4 car that we see Dave Quantock a little bit messy out of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. But he works his way up to the flying finish, and I would expect this to be a pretty strong time from Steve Wellington.
We had half a second on Tall heading into the run. So he's going to need to do something around the 2:19.5 to hold on to what would be 7th place.
And he does a 2:21.9, so there you go. We talked up his stocks and more the fool us.
That plants him where? 3rd overall.
Into third at this point. It's 1.3 seconds ahead of Job Quantock so far at the first of the cross cars, although we've still got Ari Pettigrew and Matt Penrose to come in those, and they have been spectacularly fast.
All right, time for some haggis. Sean Haggerty.
Aye.
Flying Scotsman.
Had a few issues this morning with only 3 wheels on his wagon.
He's had a couple of moments here today, hasn't he? He's ripped a wheel off that car, spun the cross car at the final corner, but he is a talented driver.
All in a day's work. He's never shy. He will not leave anything on the table for this, the final run, as we head into the Repco hairpin. Nicely done through there for Haggerty. Work our way up. There's he. Yeah, pretty much inch perfect there.
So Haggerty coming in with a 2:22.5 from yesterday as best time, which is a whole second quicker than Mike Tall. So 2:20 or better will have him into a share of the lead. Nicely done. There's Sean Haggerty, the Scottish flag ablazing on top of the roof to the final corner. Not such a problem this time round for Sean Haggerty.
He learned from his mistakes. That was quite tidy out of there. He gets the power down. Be a big jump. Definitely a big jump.
Yeah, that's a good run, and that could well be one that puts him to the top of the standings, the combined standings. So as I say, 2:19.4 or better will have him in front.
So we'll just wait for that to come through.
Neil Webb should be next.
That's a 2:21.2. So that time of Mike Tools has really stood up and been counted, hasn't it?
Absolutely. So Mike Tall overall holding down position number 1. Where does that put Sean Haggerty? Is that 2nd or 3rd? It'll be dropped into 3rd, won't it? So Tall first,
Yep.
Quantock 2nd, Haggerty now into 3rd. As we see Neil Webb making his way up the hill.
We saw him make a mistake in the last run and just overshoot that Repco hairpin, so I guess he was just trying to find that braking marker. As we said, the 2 runs today before this haven't counted for much.
Comes in with a 2:22.2.
Plenty of power out of the little Mirage here of Neil Webb. Another one down from Blenheim.
It's a pretty good run to this point. So see him in the tight stuff now.
Much tidier through that Repco hairpin. A little bit wide through the left-hander. He works his way up, tucks it in. Nicely done there. Just about getting a nice straight exit and getting that power down. Lots of power and lightweight in the little Mirage. Towards that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Letting testing station sponsor, not BTS, the pop group.
No.
Don't really do that sort of thing. K-pop.
Pretty sure we've seen the poster that you insisted on travelling with up on the wall in the hotel over the weekend, Budgie. But so head up towards the finish. Now, Neil Webb.
Some good hang time there too over the jump. So a 2:22.2 yesterday to go with whatever he posts here. This could be tight. So So he had 1.3 seconds up his sleeve from yesterday.
Over tall.
Over tall. So anything under a 20.3 here should see him.
It's a 22.4.
22.4, wow.
So Mike Tall.
He has been the big mover. We said he had a little bit in up his sleeve potentially, and he has delivered on that.
So what are we down to? Four cars to run, is it?
Mike Wellington, yep.
Yep, the ex-Hayden Padden, David Holder, Evo 8.
So this will be that green machine. Nice looking vehicle too.
Ex-Brian Stokes, Clive Cockshawn as well.
Now this guy's got better and better all day as well, all weekend.
Yeah, had a driveline issue in the first run, didn't he, coming out of the hairpin? Got that fixed, and he's been impressive ever since. Deceptively smooth, but last run, he was right up there.
So he came in with a 2:21.8 versus the competitors in the 2:21s.
Pulled out a 2:21.5 in the previous practice run, so he will need a bit of a step up.
2:21, anything in that 2:21 bracket should see him slot into the top of the standings. He had a little bit more up his sleeve yesterday on tall, and here he is at the final corner. Pretty tidy through there, and away he goes up to the flying finish. I think this will be the one that puts him to the top of the standings. We'll wait for the times. Mike Tall waits on with his 2:23.5 and his 2:19 flat. What have we got?
We'll wait for that time. Pretty confident it starts with a 2. 2 minutes.
So we'll be under the top 3 very shortly. Be a cross car. In fact, 2 of them in a row. Ari Pettigrew and Matt Penrose.
It's a big time. It's a 2:19.0.
So that puts Mike Wellington to the top of the standings, and by a healthy margin. Nice job from Mike Wellington. We'll just wait for that. You got the combined time there, Blair? Because I think that'll be quite some distance as we see Ari Pettigrew making his way up towards us.
1.7 seconds that Mike Wellington has, so 2:19, that's potentially faster than Ari, I think, has been so far.
Yes, yep. Ari's going to need to do pretty close to a 2:19 to get into the top 3. He does have, what does he have, about 0.8 of a second up his sleeve from the first run. So 2:19.7 will see him stay in the top 3. Guaranteeing the top 3 finish, I should say, is talented youngster makes his way up towards the tight part of this Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 piece of road.
Look at the way beautiful. He tosses that in there, and just a perfect late apex. That is great stuff from Ari Pettigrew. Beautifully through that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin.
Oh, this is sharp, Blair. This is a really good run from the youngster. Up to the final corner. Tips it in.
Can he get a clean exit? It's all about the clean exit. Momentum in these cross cars is key. It looked pretty tidy. What is Ari Pettigrew? What can he throw out for us?
Needs a 2:19.7 or better, I think. Hopefully my Pukekohe High School educated maths is good enough to figure this out.
All right, so we wait with bated breath as we await Matt Penrose as well.
Yeah, he's also obviously got his eyes further ahead too. Penrose with a 2:19.2 coming in, but Penrose has been very quick today. What's Ari Pettigrew done? Any tick of the clock will get the time through.
Matt Penrose has already recorded a 2:17.9 in the previous practice run, so he is, previous form suggests, the man to beat in these cross cars, and just about a sure bet for the podium outright.
The 2:20 will get him into the podium spot, no matter what.
Just wait for that time of Ari Pettigrew's to come through.
What is he going to have to do? Penrose is going to need to do a 2:17.5, I think, to get Pettigrew. What a performance from young Ari Pettigrew with Smith Penrose.
This is going to be close because we know Matt Penrose, he's done a 17.9 already. Theoretically, he should be getting faster. Can he find half a second?
I think he only takes one little mistake here to undo that chance.
And Ari Pettigrew was inch perfect from everything we could see up the hill. The apexes were just perfect. He was carrying that speed beautifully. What can Matt Penrose do?
Nicely through the final corner.
Yeah, this is on for young and old.
It'll be up to the finish. We're going to have to wait for the times, folks. There will be not much in this. So Pettigrew with a 2:20.6 and a 2:16 flat. Penrose with a 2:19.2 yesterday.
So 2:17.4 is the time to beat.
2:17.4 will be what he needs to do. In fact, he'll need to just pip that. Anything better than a 2:17.4. 2:17.4 will see them in a tied time. And that leaves one car. And we can see the helicopter down the bottom of the hill. Hayden Paddon enters the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. The last car. He has plenty of time to play with, but what kind of show can Hayden put on for the fans here in attendance as we wait for that time from Penrose?
And he does it. It's a 2:7 dead. So Pettigrew was faster today, but on combined time, Penrose.
Well done to Matt Penrose.
Provisional leader and fastest of the cross cars. We wait to see what Hayden Paddon can do. We expect him to be faster than that. He's been faster in each run so far.
2:08.2 was Paddon's time from yesterday.
And that's he hasn't gone faster today, but they were talking about, again, turning up that switch, putting the good tyres on. Those things that you do for the final run. Hyundai I20.
Oh, man,
check it out.
Throws it into that left-hander.
That commitment is just massive and absolutely tosses it into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Beautiful straight exit, gets that power down. That's what it's all about as he fires it up towards the Ben Nevis Station. Big Scandinavian flick. Throws that car in. Massive wheel spin on his way out.
I think that's his best run through that final hairpin for the weekend as Hayden Paddon fires it up over the finish line, gets some hang time.
And we'll just wait for that time to come through. I think Dale Budge is going to run up and get ready to do some interviews with our top three as we see Hayden Paddon a 2 minutes 6.1. That's a huge time. Congratulations, Hayden Paddon, the winner of the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. So what a fantastic final run from Hayden Paddon, a 2 minutes 6.1. That was an absolute screamer. That gives him the win, a combined time of 4 minutes 14.3. Matt Penrose next in the cross car at 4:36.2, just 4 tenths ahead of Ari Pettigrew. What a battle that has been all weekend. 4:36.6 Pettigrew's combined time. Mike Wellington fourth. A 4:40.8, a great effort in the Evo 8, just ahead of Michael Tall on 4:42.5. David Quantock on 4:42.9, again, another very, very tight battle there. And Sean Haggerty on a 4:43.7. Neil Webb, 4:44.6. Steve Wellington, 4:44.9. And Job Quantock, 4:46.2. Round out your top 10. What a fantastic day, 2 days of action we've had here at the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. I think we're just getting those final competitors down for a bit of the top three competitors for a podium celebration. We'll have our man Dale Budge there to ask the hard questions, although I don't think anyone will be too upset while they're on the podium there. Just looking at some of our class winners. Of course, Hayden Paddon, fastest of the Class 1, the Unlimited cars. Matt Penrose, first of the Cross cars. John Spencer, fastest of the Rally or Open four-wheel drive cars in his Evo 7. Just scroll down the leaderboard. Andrew Rudd obviously topping the bikes. 18th overall, a great effort. Of course, only 2 wheels, half the grip. Man, those guys on the bikes have been impressive. Stu Weber amongst the best of the rally 4-wheel drive cars. Ian Newman, the top of the quads. Chris Hay, the fastest of the 2-wheel drive outright cars. Unlimited 2-wheel drives. 34th overall, just ahead of Jeff Judd. The fastest of the historic cars. Ian Warren, first of the front-wheel drive screamers. And that little Nissan Pulsar, a fantastic drive from him over the weekend. Looks like Terry Taylor, the first of the club 4-wheel drive competitors. So fantastic to see one of our female competitors picking up some silverware. As we see the Hyundai i20 AP4 Plus of Hayden Padden, fresh off the back of a 2-minute 6.1. That's a new course record. Of course, shorter format this year. He's taken best part of a minute out of that previous record. So there it is, those final results. Combined time, Hayden Padden, 4 minutes 14.3. Behind him, Matt Penrose and Ari Pettigrew. What a battle that's been. Mike Wellington in 4th, then Mike Tall, Dave Quantock, Sean Haggerty, Steve Wellington, Job Quantock. So great to see both the Quantocks inside the top 10. And Jack Winter, also both the Wellingtons. So congratulations, couple of good family efforts there. Jack Winter rounding out that top 10. Fantastic future ahead for that young fella. Look at that stunning scenery in the background here at Nevis Station. Of course, New Zealand's highest public road. Some 1,200 metres above sea level, hence the name, Golden 1200. And of course the 2 cross cars there, Ari Pettigrew in place, just turning around Matt Penrose, and we'll have our man Dale Budge getting ready to ask those tough questions. For Hayden, what a dream weekend. Obviously a lot of work from him and his team involved in putting on a big event like this. Fantastic opportunity while we just get everything in place to thank the likes of Ben Nevis Station, Repco, Hyundai New Zealand, Design Windows, Winmax Brake Pads, Padden Racing Group, everyone that's brought this event together, the Eastern Southland Car Club, all the teams of volunteers and marshals. So we'll cross over to Dale Budge now with Hayden Padden.
From a personal satisfaction point of view, that I did a reasonably good job of that one.
All right, mate, it's been a big week and plenty to celebrate tonight, I imagine.
Well, I'll probably sleep. Pack up here and sleep and get ready for the Southern New Zealand Championship.
All right, mate, best of luck for the year ahead. Well done.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks. All right, we'll bring in Matt Penrose. Matt? So the first of our cross-car competitors. Congratulations, mate. I think 3rd fastest overall on that run, but good enough for 2nd in the across the 2 days. You must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, really happy with that. It's obviously a lot of pressure coming to the last run, but just wanted to make sure I got a good solid run in without any big mistakes, so happy with that.
If you'd been told that Ari was going to go into the 2.16s before you set off, would you have been a bit nervous?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the times were, but yeah, obviously he's very fast, and you know, the whole weekend I knew that he's quite capable of pulling something like that out. Yeah.
And overall, mate, the experience of competing here across this sort of format and this piece of road, pretty exhilarating, yeah?
Oh yeah, awesome weekend, awesome event, and yeah, I've had an awesome time.
All right, mate, congratulations, well done.
Great, thank you.
Second overall, Matt Penrose, and we'll bring in Ari Pettigrew, third place overall, second in the cross cars, and I think the fastest individual time in a cross car with your last run, you got into the 2:16s, mate, well done, but not quite enough to edge Matt.
Yeah, it was a good run in that last one. I put everything down on the table, so yeah, there's nothing left in it for that one, that's for sure.
Mate, how difficult, I mean, the road conditions obviously changing throughout as you approached each run. Did you notice much of a difference?
Yeah, every single time you approach a corner it's different. All these bloody forward drives are ripping it up a bit for us, so yeah, it's a real challenge in the cross kart, but yeah, they handle it well, and yeah, really enjoyed today.
And mate, year ahead, another big year for you when you think ahead to the National Championship and getting into an AP4 car. This is a nice way to start the season, yeah?
Yeah, it's been great to jump in a cross car in the off season to keep me busy behind the wheel. So yeah, really looking forward to Otago coming up quickly now, and just over a month. So yeah, really looking forward to getting behind the wheel at the Manukau Auto Centre Barina. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
All right, well done across the weekend, mate. Go and enjoy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so that's your top three at the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 for 2022. In the third place, Ari Pettigrew. Second place, Matt Penrose. And your winner, Hayden Patton. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. We hope you've enjoyed what we've produced as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And we will see you again in 2024. And after the ceremonial spraying of the champagne, I thought they all went pretty easy on each other, to be honest. But no one really got a good dousing. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. It's been an absolute pleasure. On behalf of Dale Budge, I've been Blair Bartels. Thank you very much for joining us.